After I got pregnant, he wanted me to have an abortion.
If your mind and your heart is telling you not to do it with this guy, you know, follow what your mind is telling you, you know, because you can wind up like I did.
Now there's a baby involved.
I'm not upset or anything that, you know, Nichelle is here, but it's sort of like it's a block in my life.
Another letter from a fellow says, "Dear Josh, I wrestled varsity this year and made pretty good friends with the guys in the team. About 6 months ago, near the start of the season, several of us were talking after practice about, guess what? Sex. Well, when it came out that I hadn't had sex yet, they really let me have it. They teased me pretty regularly about it until I finally found a girl who would sleep with me. I just wanted to be like the other guys, to fit in. I've learned over the years from just thousands of conversations and letters from kids all over the world that most kids today, they don't want sex as much as they want intimacy. They want to be loved and accepted for who they are. A 16-year-old girl wrote me after my last tour of England, and she just said, "Mr. McDowell, I want to be loved." And she put in parentheses, not physically. I want someone who cares. I want to love and be loved, and I don't know how to do either.
So what do you think, Mrs. Lewis? Will Celeste and Tommy wait for marriage?
What do you mean, will they wait? It's more like, could they start to wait if they decided to stop?
Really? I just wonder how realistic it is to expect us to wait until we're married to have sex.
Yeah, but what if it'll keep you from getting AIDS?
Come on, Trish. Who thinks about getting AIDS in the heat of the moment over at your girlfriend's house? The real thing to fear is that her mom or dad might come home early.
You know, that's always fatal.
I hear you. Hey, wait a minute.
Wow. Oh, yeah, sure.
Let me ask you something I probably wouldn't ask in the classroom. How does it make you feel when you think about having sex with someone you know sleeps with other people?
It doesn't bother me too much.
It's not the most pleasant thought.
Well, think about it this way. When you have sex with someone that sleeps with other people, you're also having sex with those other partners and running the risk of passing on diseases.
Yeah, real pleasant thought.
Now, we're not talking about just fun and games here. Sure, sex can be enjoyable, but it's more than that. You know, I think that sex is at its very best when it occurs in the right context between two people who really love each other and are committed to each other.
You talking about marriage?
Well, it works for me.
Hey, Mrs. Lewis. Whoa, whoa. Hey, Mrs. Lewis.
Yeah.
So you don't think it's possible for kids to be in love?
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. What happens is kids get confused between the intimacy of love and the intensity of sex. You know, I think that what kids are looking for is someone they can be honest with, someone they can be real with and cares about them. Now, that's friendship. That's not sex. You know, there's some real hurt that can happen out there. Look, you all know somebody who had sex with somebody last week because they were in love, and they're not even together anymore. Now, what does that do to a girl or a guy's feelings and self-esteem?
Mrs. Lewis, you make it sound like sex at our age is wrong. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that I think that there are plenty of reasons to wait until marriage to have sex. I'm not saying that sex isn't enjoyable, but I think it needs to happen in the right context. Look, I have to run. Can we talk about this more tomorrow?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dear Josh, having sex with my girlfriend has really got me confused and feeling guilty. I don't feel good about myself or my relationship with God. I don't understand why God gave me such a strong sex drive and then says I can't act on it. A lot of kids I know think that God is against sex, but he's not. In fact, he's the one who created it and wants every one of us to enjoy it to the fullest. The only reason he says wait is that he knows waiting until marriage can provide for a maximum sex life and protect you from a lot of potential pain if you don't. But you say, I just don't get it. What's religion got to do with sex? You know, I had that question too. I used to think that Christianity was for the weak-minded who needed an emotional crutch. I thought it was a lot of rules to follow, and I certainly didn't want any strict rules to cramp my lifestyle. But after about 2 years of trying to intellectually disprove Christianity, I couldn't. And I discovered that Christianity wasn't a religion and a lot of cold rules. Instead, I learned that it was a relationship with Jesus Christ. And behind those rules of do's and don'ts is a positive motivation to protect me and to provide for me. I came to understand that obeying God's principles to wait to have sex until marriage was in my best interest. And when I finally asked Christ to come into my life and to forgive me, it ended up affecting every area of my life. For example, I began to experience forgiveness where there had been guilt before. And then he gave me the strength to wait, to say no. I guess I could sum it up by saying that I learned that God loves you and me and wants to protect us.
You know, she's okay. But I really wonder if she knows what's going on.
No kidding. I mean, there's no way she's going to scare kids out of having sex.
I don't think she's trying to scare us, you guys. She's just saying here's another thing to think about. It's what she believes.
Well, what do you believe, Trish?
I don't know, okay? I think she's got a good point, all right?
You know, maybe she's right. Waiting until you're married to have sex? What's the big deal?
So, where does all this leave us? You got George Michael telling you that sex is best when it's one-on-one. You've got your preacher telling you that sex is best when it's none-on-none. You've got TV and the movies telling you that sex is best when it's as often as possible. And you've got every medical expert in the country telling you about all the things that can happen if you get a sexually transmitted disease. Who do you listen to? Like I said earlier, you've got some tough choices. Sure, you can sleep around and you can have a lot of fun with sex, but I'm just asking you to look at the reality that we've been talking about, that there is a price to pay. Sometimes a really big price. It's cost some people their self-respect and others their lives. You know, I don't think that waiting is about being a loser or about missing out on all the fun. I just think that it's about choosing what you really want out of life and relationships. What's best for the long run? Oh, one more thing about waiting. I wouldn't wait until the windows were steamed up in the back seat of your car before I made my decision, if you know what I mean. I mean, it's a tough decision. When it takes a lot of strength, then chances are you're going to be encountering a lot of people that very much want you to change that decision, especially with the windows steamed up in the back seat of your car. Hey, look, it's a serious issue with a lot at stake. So just think about it, will you?